Micah, and good morning, Mark Lee, Editor-in-Chief of Christianity Today. You have said some things. I've read post from your writing, and I will get to that in a moment. But Mark, you don't like our president. You're willing to use lies. Yes, you quoted a lie out of the left-wing media's notes. You hate our president badly enough to do that. How would the son of the founder of your paper, your magazine, how would Franklin Graham, I would like to see Franklin Graham's opinion of our president. You're an editor of a very powerful magazine. That gives you quite a bit of listening to. That said, you told a lie. You said our president did something that the paperwork clearly says he did not do, nor should he step down. Before this gets too out of hand, I would really like to see what Franklin Graham thinks of our president. And you're not the only one with a vocal voice around this country. Evangelical leader Alveda King. She sees no problem with our president and likes him very well. So for all those listening, remember, this is a powerful magazine. This is a important magazine to many. But he is not the only one with a Christian opinion. That said, there's the old saying that this network and I, one of the speakers for Faith Ministries, don't normally agree with. There's the old saying, Christians should stay out of politics. No, Christians should be well involved. Us staying out of it is why things have got out of hand over the decades. That said, you need to really consider. You're a minister, yet you openly told a lie because you do not like our president, and you quoted that lie. How will your followers, how will your parishioners appreciate a well-known and very vocal minister lying? I direct you to the Ten Commandments. You shall not lie. Unfortunately, at this point in history, I can't quote them like I used to. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. And there's quite a few in there I'm forgetting about. But he said, you shall not bear false witness. That and spreading rumors is lying. Lying and spreading rumors is, pardon me, been up quite a while, is to bear false witness. And Jesus said, in those days, there would be false witnesses, false preachers, false teachers, and false prophets. Now, you clearly do not like our president to go to this extent. What is it you do not like about him? He has helped Israel more than any president in our recent history. He even put Jerusalem as their main capital, at least in U.S. standing in most of the world. Likewise, he has stripped many of the regulations put in by previous administrations that hindered the church. You were actually allowed to speak on politics because of what President Trump did. Do not forget, prior to this, if you spoke politically from your pulpit, someone's getting frustrated. Means the truth's having an effect. Prior to this president, until now, if you spoke politically from your pulpit, you would be denied your tax-exempt status. So, on the one hand, the president has helped Israel. On the other hand, he allowed you to have that conversation. And there's many other things this network has forgot about, that Faith Ministries has forgot about. Many things that he has done on behalf of the church. Yet you straight out lie and say he is doing unfixable harm to the church. State your case. It is clear as can be with these facts that he is doing very good things for the church. He's allowing house cleaning. Name one president prior to this president who got all the sexual predators known as priests and pastors locked up out of our streets. Name one president prior to this president who actually gave a care about the victims of domestic violence and of rapists. Now that's not exactly a word written in the Bible, but if you go back and look at what they were doing to Lot before he died, Jesus didn't think much of that. He hated what happened there, but that was Old Testament. Now, in Revelations, he said, pardon me again, in Revelations, in the story of the 7 candlesticks, he hated one of those. It's a hard name, not Corinth, but Nicolaitan Church. Yes, he hated the Nicolaitan Church, which, based on history we've read in Bible studies and basic history, the Nicolaitans did exactly what, did exactly what the rapists and sexual predators that this president has got rid of and got in prison did. They would, from what I learned in my church over the years, the Nicolaitans would constantly mess with Christians, would trip them up, get them to do something wrong, and then they'd turn around after all the stumbling blocks they threw. The victim would stumble, and they would say it was their fault. This president has cleaned up a whole lot of sickos who do exactly that, using rape and sexual assault, hate and anger as their control mechanism. So staying on point here, we could go quite a ways on some of the dirt that this president has helped cleaned up in the church. But I've laid out a very good case as to what this president is doing for the church, yet you say he's tearing it apart. Last note, and then I'm going to leave you the opportunity to respond to this video. Do not forget, there are a lot of churches suddenly begging for money because they were taking advantage of their church members. Their church, in some cases, the church members brought in more than the church itself did. There were people coming into that church, and then when those people asked for help, the church said no. Well, guess what? Given that, and there are churches that people who follow certain ministries, various ministries, well, they don't pay those ministries tithe, and as the people being used, and as those that weren't getting tithed, as they pulled away and showed the corruption of the church, suddenly their pockets are running very empty. The reason I bring that up is because is that what your beef with this church, with this president? That the church is suddenly not having funds, is suddenly not having all this deep dough into their pockets because their corruption, their false teachings, and there's a couple other words in there that, yeah, their hypocrisy, that's the one I'm trying to remember, has caught up to them? Jesus said it, your sin will find you out. Well, as I said, is that what is bugging you about this president? That he's cleaned out a lot of the stuff that was preventing the church and that kept you from speaking on political matters? And now that that's happened, we've cleaned out the church real good, and a lot of the corruption and hypocrisy is gone. I hear a lot of doors slamming. I don't live far from other neighbors. Well, I hate to say it, but if that's the case, you aren't Christian. You better get on your knees and pray and ask God for guidance. Because if you're for hypocrisy, you're for rape, and all the things mentioned in this video, you ain't no Christian, or you were so backslidden I don't even know where you started. This is a good president, and think biblically. How many times did Jesus say it? They hated him first, so they would hate us more, and on and on, Old Testament and New Testament. If you were truly a good person in the Bible, you were attacked and almost put it on an island unto yourself many times. So now, as I'm done, please respond back. We have laid out a very good case for how good this president has been for the church and for Israel. What is your excuse, or what's your basis for saying he's destroying the church? Thank you.